royals, it's like it has millions of years of history and like culture and all these things, and it's not just going into a family and trying to change their values.
Bottom line, and I'm just going to say it, you know, because I think that's the underlying thing. I think it's racism. I think at the end of there's undertones of racism here for sure.
And just start looking in her eye and you're like, I'm hooked.
It's like that Beyonce thing.
Yes.
Right?
Yes,
that they like stand, they're just standing and you're like, ah!
Hello everyone and welcome to Latinx Now, where we examine the biggest entertainment news stories through the Latin lens. I'm Christian Acosta, sitting with Claudia Vergara and Nastassja Bolivar.
I'm in the middle now.
Yes, you are. We've got a jam-packed show for you all today, so let's get started and jump right into the headlines. Coming up, the 2020 Grammys have released their list of performers, and 3 Latinx artists have made the cut. A lot has happened in the last week with the royal family, and we're giving you the latest update. Farruko will be joining us on Latinx Set to talk about his new album, Gangali, and his tour. And we have an interview with the cast of Party of 5 reboot as one of the bad boys, also with Will Smith and Martin Lawrence. All that and more here on Latinx Now. All right, so the 62nd annual Grammy Awards are set to air on January 26th, and the Recording Academy has announced the artists that will be performing during the show. Best New Artist nominee Rosalía has been tapped to bring her flamenco style to music's biggest night. Now, other artists that will be joining Rosalía include Demi Lovato and Camila Cabello. Now, for Demi, this would be her big comeback to the public eye since overdosing in July 2018. Now, she posted on her Instagram with a caption that reads, "I told you the next time you'd hear from me, I'd be singing," and there you have it. Now, the Grammy stage is notorious for either making or breaking someone's career, and for Rosalía, honestly, this could arguably be like her biggest performance. Now, could this really be like what launches Rosalía into global superstar
She's
status?
already global. She's already a superstar.
Yes, we think that for us.
Are you a fan of Rosalía?
No. We think that for us because obviously we know her music, but there's still obviously a lot of people out there that don't, and maybe like different languages and everything. So that's where the question comes from: global superstardom. What do you think?
Well, I will say that she never disappoints. At least until now, she has never disappointed me. So I do not expect anything from her that's not perfection.
That's true.
Right.
So that being said, Nas, you go on.
Yeah, I think she always brings like this shock value, and I don't mean the shock value like, the fireworks, and no, there's something about her presence that just captivates you. Rosalía doesn't have to do anything, just have a microphone and she just start looking in her eye and you're like, I'm hooked.
It's like that Beyonce thing.
Yes.
Right?
Yes,
that they stand, they're just standing and you're like, ah! Like it's horrible.
And it's true that what you're saying, because listen, I'm not saying I'm not a Rosalía fan, because I definitely am a fan, but I'm not just yet a diehard fan like what Claudia is. But I think this Grammy stage, it's gonna be the trampoline for her to really grab all those people, for everybody to go online to be like, I need to find out what she likes to eat in the morning. I need to find out about what she's wearing. I need to find, and especially now that she's besties with Kylie.
I was going to say that also. I mean, being besties with Kylie always helps.
Do you think that Kylie would probably do the carpet with her, like now that they're wifey?
I mean, perhaps, who knows? Or maybe not to take the spotlight. Who knows? Because then everyone will talk about Rosalía and Kylie instead of just Rosalía. I think it's incredible because Rosalia's performed at the MTV VMAs. Her performance, everyone talked about it. She's performed at the Latin Billboard Music Awards. Everyone talked about that performance. So she knows what she's doing when she gets up on that stage. But this reminds me, going back to 1999, Ricky Martin.
Oh, you're going back.
I was like, way back, going way back. Ricky Martin, the reason is this is a historic moment for Latin music. Ricky Martin performed at the Grammy Awards. And look, the Latin community, the Latino community, everyone knew who he was in the Latinx community. But global, this is where the question really stems from. Not a lot of people knew who Ricky Martin was. And so when he performed that night, a lot of people said that he became an overnight superstar.
Got it.
Because from that moment on, he became so huge. In fact, a few months after that, Sony Music was like, okay, this guy's hot right now. Let's get his album.
Well, they got the memo late, like they're about to get it with Rosalía. Because right. But let's also talk about our other Latin representation, because we can't take away from that. We have Camila Cabello. We also have Demi Lovato. And this is a big moment for Demi. I'm a Demi fan. I know she's been going through a lot. But one of my favorite things about Demi is how she arises from those ashes. She's like a phoenix. And that's when you hear like those powerful songs that afterwards you're jamming in your car, like belting it when no one's listening.
Oh, she looks incredible there.
Oh, she and you know what? That's one of the things that I'm rooting for her. I'm always a rooter for people who sometimes fall, but they pick themselves back up, and it's like they never fell at all.
Yeah, that's true.
That's very Demi
And one
Lovato.
thing about Demi, look, whether you like her or not, like her music or not, there's no denying her voice.
That is very true.
Insane. Like her voice is sick. It's seriously one of the most powerful voices there is in music. I don't think she's quite demonstrated the her
range.
full range and capacity and the strength of her voice. And so I'm hoping that at this Grammy performance also that this will be also one of those moments where it's like boom, there you go, overnight, right?
And I'm a type that in my music, I'm a listener of the lyrics.
Are you?
I am.
I'm not at all.
I know you're more of the beat type.
I'm more
I know. And this is why I can't wait to hear what lyrics and what
That's it. You're so romantic.
I know what Demi's gonna sing because it's so hard, and I know she's gonna be an inspiration to so many people because of that. So I'm excited to hear what she's gonna sing.
Yeah, no, big time. And obviously, we got to mention Camila Cabello, like you said, because actually I just found out that Camila opened at last year's Grammy Awards, making her the first Latina to open the Grammy Awards. To open the Grammy Awards. Remember, she performed with Ricky Martin and J Balvin, so that was like a huge moment for
our Latin representation isn't stopping.
There we go. Exactly. We got to keep on going. It ain't going anywhere.
We're like a Chiva.
But you know what? These two are going somewhere. Prince Harry and Meghan Markle's decision to step down as senior members of the royal family, or how social media is calling it, Megxit.
No.
Get it? Like Brexit, Megxit. Well, it's still making headlines a week later. Now, there's been a lot of developments over the past few days, but what we found interesting as we started scrolling through different British news outlets is the way Meghan in particular has been covered in the news versus how Kate Middleton has been covered or was covered, oftentimes for the same type of stories. Now, this is something that's happened since Harry and Meghan first started dating, and continues on. For example, for both royal weddings, one news outlet talked about both brides' bouquets. For Kate's story, the headline reads, "Why you can always say it with flowers." And Meghan's reads, "Royal Wedding, how Meghan Markle's flowers may have put Princess Charlotte's life at risk."
Wow.
Seriously. And then another example for both pregnancy announcements, one outlet ran the headline, "Not long to go. Pregnant Kate tenderly cradles her baby bump while wrapping up her royal duties ahead of maternity leave, and William confirms she's due any minute now."
Hey, you read it like a royal.
Right. While Meghan's, now listen to this, while Meghan's reads, "Why can't Meghan Markle keep her hands off her bump?" Experts tackle the question that has got the nation talking. Is it pride, vanity, acting, or a new age bonding technique? Really? Now, do you guys think the difference is, the way that the press is like always covering Meghan, is it adding fuel to the current royal fire?
It's perspective. If you want to see things the way you want to see them, that's the thing. Like, I
you know what? This middle seat has done good for you. Yes. That's a great answer.
I hate it. I have to look at all the angles. Like I was used to this. Well, anyways, that's another story. I'll save that for another day. But I think that for Meghan, for example, they've never liked her. Like, we know that the British press has never liked her, but I also think she never really tried either. So it's like.
Yeah, I think she could have tried a little bit more.
But don't you think it also can be the manipulation behind the press to make you feel that Meghan's that type of way? Isn't that what at the end of the day
that's all we see, what they want to show us.
Exactly. And also this part, and it's so sad, and I'm glad we have Latinx Now here that we're putting it side by side, because I would have never really heard the difference. You just hear the things and you don't compare them. But it makes me think, okay, so the royals do have some type of way that they can move the press and tell them how to move, right? So with this being said, you hear all the stuff that they're talking about Meghan, and you start thinking, oh, I don't like Meghan. She's a problem. She comes here trying to change the whole British culture, the whole UK royal thing.
She kind of did, though.
Yeah, but not in a bad way, in a way that maybe Princess Diana also did, like in ways that, like, it's going to be good. We're changing times. We shouldn't just be stuck with old, I'm not British and I'm not a royal, so everybody else will be like, well, that's why you're not part of that.
Right. But you mean like she pushed, right? And for like difference.
Yeah, this is
right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I get that.
point in
but
history.
I think bottom line, what this comes down to, and it's a really sad thing to say, but bottom line, and I'm just going to say it, because I think that's the underlying thing. I think it's racism. I think at the end of there's undertones of racism here for sure.
And levels to it.
And right, there's different levels for sure. Obviously Meghan Markle, she's a black woman, and perhaps look, she's a black woman, she's American, and she's Hollywood, right? So it's one element after the other that can maybe, I don't know, disturb, upset, it doesn't sit right with certain people. And, perhaps they were like, and again, adding to the fire that she pushes, right? And that she didn't follow the rules per se.
Yeah.
But again, it goes back to racism. It really does.
Yeah, and I don't know. And I just think of it of like, when you say if I brought a new boyfriend home to my Latin family and he was white and he had nothing, and then he comes and starts changing me to his tradition. No more Noche Buena, just Christmas Day. No more 24th, just the 25th. My family would feel a type of way about it and not see it as a good thing, when they need to realize that if that's the path that I want to go, and to intermix two cultures to bring something new, because not everything has to be categorized in a certain way.
Yeah, no.
New
of course,
is also
I
good
get that.
I mean, for me.
That's tough too. That's a tough situation as well there. I'm not saying that that's easy, but that's a good way of putting it, I guess, for us to get that perspective on what it'd be like, right? But, you don't agree.
The royals. Like, no, you probably don't know exactly what you're getting into, but you know what you're getting into. You know what I mean?
I get it,
That's true,
but then we would be stuck in old times if we didn't accept new things.
Because there's also things that you want to how do you say, preservar?
Conserve, yeah.
Like throughout time. And like the thing is, the truth is that the royals, it's like it has millions of years of history and like culture and all these things, and it's not just going into a family and trying to change their values.
But the difference here is, I think it comes down to the way that the press is just treating, right, Meghan versus the way they're treating Kate. So it's like treating one, son-in-law one way and treating the other son-in-law the other way.
But I think the full circle goes back to what Claudia will say then about perspectives, because maybe here, our American press, we push towards Meghan and the positivity behind what she's doing.
They don't.
Whereas the UK, they don't either.
They've never liked her.
Perspective.
And she has never tried, so just like...
Yeah, you know what? As long as they're a happy couple, right? I guess that's the important thing. All right, well, up next, I got the chance to talk to the
I can take Meghan's place.
Of Party of Five. We moved on and got an insight on what's to come for the Latinx reboot. Farruko is in the building and joining us on the Latinx set to tell us about his latest album, Gangali, and what's in store for 2020. And we've got an interview with the OG Bad Boys, Will Smith and Martin Lawrence, for their new film, Bad Boys for Life. So don't go anywhere. Latinx Now will be right back.
You mean... After 20 years, Party of Five is returning to our TV screens, but with a totally different storyline and cast. And who better than Christian Acosta to interview the Acosta family on the show about their roles, and even played a really fun game with them where they tested just how much they know about one another. So take a look.
You have to look after Rafa.
What?
Yeah, we won't be able to even when you can.
Now, I have a surprise for you guys.
Oh.
My name is Christian Acosta.
Oh! No way!
Welcome
Mi
to the
primo! What are you doing sitting there? Come over here!
What do you hope to keep, though, from the original? Because we know it's different. Instead of the parents passing away, they're deported. So what do you want to keep, though, as the same?
The importance of family values. I mean, the original, I haven't watched it, but from what I've heard from everybody else is that, it places huge precedence on family and the importance of family. And that's what we tried to illustrate while filming this series.
How different are you from your characters, right? So not how are you the same, how are you different?
Juan Emilio's a singer and a guitar player. And other than singing in the shower, I really haven't done that much public singing. So that's how I'm different.
I guess I wasn't as daring at his age and as confident to take.
Right.
She's a little more rebellious and I would say daring as well than I am in real life.
Probably for me, the biggest thing is she has older siblings, I don't.
But how is it to work with a predominantly Latino cast, right?
I think it means
It's
everything,
amazing.
not only to
Yes.
us, but the viewers that are really affected by, deportation issues and also Latin culture.
And it wasn't just the cast, it was also
Exactly.
the
Yeah, the
crew, which was
crew.
such an important
Yeah.
part for all of us because
Yeah.
at the end of the day, I mean, it's a community, it's a group thing to make this show happen. I mean, there were so many different cultures on set and it was so beautiful.
That's super
It's a big
cool.
melting pot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Of course,
Yeah.
absolutely. absolutely. Now, we're going to close our eyes, right? You're going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, right?
Wait.
So 1, 2,
2, 3, 4. Okay.
Right? And you guys just say the numbers, right? Just point with your hands, right?
Okay.
Right, ready? So,
We have to have our eyes closed?
yeah, eyes closed. Eyes closed.
Okay.
Who's the funniest? Who is the one that eats the most?
Oh.
All right. Who is the laziest?
Oh,
No.
No.
All right, that's
so
good.
incredibly
That's
hard
good.
word.
Christian, you're a primo.
Yeah, no, totally. It was really cool
familia
because
perdida.
when I first read about this, I was like, wait, it's the Acostas, right? Which is really cool because obviously it's a personal note for me, the Acostas. But I think it's a personal note for just, our whole Latinx community because we know that these detention centers are happening right now, different borders across the country right now. And so it's a real situation. It's really real. So yeah, I love this reboot.
Could you see yourself part of that family?
Yeah, of course. I told them, it'd be party of 6 with me, for sure.
He'll fit in wherever you put him.
And you know what? Brandon, actually, who plays the oldest brother there, he actually recently got engaged. So, he's got
How
all
old
these
is he?
celebrations to happen, right? Super
You got
young.
invited, is what you're trying to say?
Yeah, no. That Acosta.
You're that cousin that they don't invite.
Not happening there.
Oh my God. Well, to check out the entire interview, head over to our YouTube channel at Latinx Now. And coming up, Farruko, you guys. Farruko is in the house. And Nastassja embraced her inner bad girl roots in her interview with Will Smith and Martin Lawrence for their film Bad Boys for Life. We'll be right back with more Latinx Now.
Y hoy tenemos como invitado muy especial al reggaetonero Farruko.
Casi nadie tenemos al lado.
Primero que todo, felicitaciones por Gangalí. También sabemos que vamos a terminar tu gira aquí en Miami. ¿Vas a tener invitados especiales?
Claro, tengo varios invitados, incluso
Aparte de mí.
ando con un pana por ahí, el Alfa que está por ahí, que anda conmigo, y Chávez. No, contentísimo con todo esto del concierto, gracias a todos mis colegas que me han dicho que sí, que van a venir, que han colaborado conmigo en mi carrera. Para mí es especial también amigos como el Alfa, que fuera de la música son mis amigos y están acompañándome y apoyándome en esto. Y más en Miami, que es como mi segundo hogar, ¿me entiendes? Que de verdad que me siento bien feliz de poder brindarle un show.
Y nosotros felices de tenerte aquí a mi lado. Farruko, sabes que yo ya te lo he dicho, Gangalí es mi álbum favorito del año pasado, es my number one, me encantó.
Gracias.
En verdad que sí, en
Sí, te
verdad
lo juro.
sí.
Siempre lo
I
creo,
love
gracias.
Gangalí. Yo quizás sé el por qué, pero para que todo el mundo sepan en casa, ¿por qué Gangalí?
Pues mira, Gangalí significa guerrero, los jamaiquinos le dicen así en el Rastafari, y pues es algo que pegaba conmigo mucho, o sea, pegaba con lo que soy yo y con lo que es mi esencia musical también, que yo mezclo mucho el reggae, el dancehall y estos sonidos tropicales de las islas. Y pues decidí dejarme Gangalí, le decidí poner, me llamó la atención el Gangalí.
Love it.
Ay, bueno, también sacaste el video de sorpresa hace poquito. Cuéntame un poquito de este tema que es más romántico.
Sí, Sorpresa está dentro del álbum, creo que fue el último video que filmamos del álbum. Y es un tema así como los primeros de Farruko, que es como que más romanticón y eso, pero obviamente tiene la esencia de lo que es el gangaleo, como le digo yo.
Sí, obvio.
Sabroseado.
Claro que sí. Bueno, Farru, todos somos aquí pues seres humanos, todos cometemos errores. ¿Qué has aprendido de tus errores? Me encanta porque tú siempre eres muy sincero con tus respuestas.
Pues mira que obviamente no volverlos a cometer.
Es importante.
Lo primero. Y que de ahí uno separa de verdad quiénes son las personas que están para uno en esos momentos. Abres los ojos de que quizás estabas confundido, porque a veces uno no está viendo ni se percata bien de lo que uno está viviendo alrededor, ya sea por el trabajo, las influencias que tienes a los lados. Y cuando tú estás en problemas, en realidad tú sabes quiénes son los que están para ti, sabes qué cosas tienes que corregir, cómo levantarte y empezar de nuevo. Y eso es lo más bonito de cometer errores, que cuando tú cometes un error, tienes la oportunidad de poder levantarte o quedarte ahí. Yo preferí levantarme y seguir.
Amén.
Metiendo
So
mano.
true. La verdad que sí. Bueno, Farru, o sea, la verdad que nosotros te queremos muchísimo. Te vimos,
todos, sos
pero te
demasiado
vimos
fans.
entrar aquí cojeando, o sea, caminando como si tuvieras una lesión. Y no sé si tiene que ver con un video que subiste redes sociales. Estamos
No sé si
preocupados.
será
Vamos a verlo, vamos a verlo.
Aquí abajo tiene un botoncito ahí.
Dura, dame una vueltecita.
Farru, por favor, te cuidas. Por favor.
No, es que eso es como un monociclo, y es eléctrico porque es con una sola rueda. Entonces, pues, el balance, ella se acelera con el balance.
Sí, sí.
Y pues yo pensaba que era una moto normal y estaba montada y cuando la apagaron pierde toda la potencia y se cae como
Claro,
normal.
sí.
Gracias a Dios que ese fue el que pudieron grabar porque primero me caí más feo.
¿En serio?
Sí.
Wow.
Gracias a Dios que ese no salió porque primero sí me hubiera ido más viral de lo que me
Nos
fue.
preocupa, y nos preocupa porque la última vez que te vimos estabas en muletas, dijimos, ¿qué le pasa?
We need Farruko in our lives, por
Es que
favor.
yo tengo yo nací con los pies planos. Entonces, cuando yo estoy mucho tiempo de pie, pues la planta de los pies se me inflama, ¿me entiendes? Y por eso he bajado de peso también.
Ah,
Y he
buenísimo.
tratado
Pero eso
Te
es
ves
algo
súper bien.
positivo,
Te cuidas, por favor.
Sí,
Somos
porque
súper
necesitamos
fans.
Farruko en nuestra vida. Pues
Ajá.
ustedes recuerden que la próxima semana vamos a tener mucho más acerca de la nueva música Latinx, así que estén pendientes. Pero ahora vamos a una pausa. Más adelante, los Bad Boys de Miami, Martin Lawrence and Will Smith, me contaron lo que viene en su película Bad Boys for Life. Ya regresamos con mucho más aquí en Latinx Now.
Bad Boys for Life hits theater January 17th, and Nas talked to the OG bad boys of the film, Will Smith and Martin Lawrence, about working together. Again, you know, how Martin was the creator of the franchise and even found out how much Will loves her snorts.
They fell in love with Nastassja.
Take a look, take a look.
All right, well, first, bienvenidos.
Gracias.
You guys are like honorary Miamians. You guys received the key, right?
And honorary badges. We got badges. That was
We could make an arrest right now.
I mean, I'm down.
You better behave yourself.
And one thing I didn't know, Martin, you're the reason Bad Boys is here.
Exactly.
That's crazy. Tell me about that.
Well, I was offered the script, and after 5 minutes of talking to Will Smith,
That's
the
it.
rest is history.
That's amazing. You know, you guys said it was like riding bike, like getting to work with each
Yes,
other again.
yeah.
But what's something that you guys forgot about each other that when you guys got back and they say like, oh, Will, oh, Martin, like I forgot about this.
I don't think I forgot anything about Will. 'Cause
I forgot that Martin's not a morning person.
I knew he was going to say that.
I forgot, you know, because I come. That was an actual snorkel.
Oh,
you saw that?
yeah.
That was no, it's beautiful. It's really endearing.
You guys got that on camera. He said it's beautiful,
It's
okay?
beautiful.
Sorry, it's
No,
not
it's
about
beautiful.
my snort.
It's beautiful.
It's not about this.
So beautiful.
Thank you, thank
Are
you.
my favorite now.
And then I guess to finish this up, I know you guys in the movie talks about, you know, Marcus retiring. Please don't tell me Bad Boys is retiring the franchise.
No, we're gonna wait for the audience. You know, when the movie comes out this weekend, and we absolutely love working together, and we would certainly be willing to do it again if the audience loves the chemistry.
Well, you got one audience member here that
Yes,
says,
absolutely.
let's do this.
And
then,
you're gonna give us good laughs. You're gonna give us
you
good
know what? Your
laughs.
soundtrack, instead of Nicki Jam
No,
and
yeah.
Farruko and Balvin, you're gonna have Nas on there, just like a little remix. And what you gonna do? What you gonna do when they come for you?
Only Nastassja.
I found
Only Nastassja.
I found where my snort is useful, guys, in the Bad Boys like film. I'm just
course.
gonna become a bad girl.
Well, at least Will Smith likes it, right?
Oh, Will Smith, Martin
You
Lawrence.
can die, ¿cómo se llama? In peace now.
Yes, of course.
I hope you guys at home like it now. After
You know,
Will Smith likes
it's
it.
incredible because I was thinking about Will Smith and franchise. He's got so many iconic roles. Like he is the superstar.
We talked about him
movie
yesterday
star.
too, or like he's the
He's
Fresh
just-
Prince.
But we
of Bel-Air.
can't leave behind Martin Lawrence. I grew up with Martin Lawrence, watching
Huge.
Martin, and not only that, but a lot of people said, why did it take so long for Bad Boys 3 to come out? Like, oh, because Will Smith wanted it perfect. But we wouldn't have Bad Boys if it wasn't for Martin
That's
Lawrence.
Yeah,
true.
but
That's true.
It's just like their chemistry. Like
Yeah.
their chemistry is like what makes the whole
It's like
thing.
Christian, Clau, and Nas chemistry.
Yeah, totally. You know, but
that
I heard Will Smith say that the reason also it took them a while was because they didn't just want this to be like a cash grab. Like they didn't just want to do, you know, another movie to make more money, right? Like they wanted a good script, a good movie, a good plot, a good everything.
And let me tell you, I went to the premiere, so I already saw it. I recommend everybody at home to watch it. I really do. It's such a good movie. If you know, when Bad Boys 1 came out, how good it was, Bad Boys 3 is just as good for today.
Is it? Okay,
Yes.
okay. All right, then we definitely have to watch that for sure. All right, guys, and of course, another thing that you got to watch is Ladonia on Telemundo. It's super hot and it stars Araceli Arambula, who, of course, we're all super fans of. So let's take a look.
Sabes que regresó.
Tenemos que actuar ahora.
Pero aún no sabes cuál es el suceso que hará que la doña desate su furia.
Quiero que mueran, pero no tan pronto.
Y será más implacable y justiciera que nunca.
Ahora te toca a ti.
La doña, lunes a viernes, 9-8 Centro, solo por Telemundo.
Definitely talk
My
about
watch
another
list is full.
iconic role for sure.
Sí. Menos mal que me compré un televisor nuevo.
Of course she did. All right, well, that's our cue to go. But remember, you can watch us in Espanol every Saturday at midnight on Telemundo. And don't forget to follow us on Instagram and Twitter at Latinx Now. And on Facebook, facebook.com/Latinx Now. All right, guys, that's it. So ciao for now.
Ciao for now.
Yeah, so did you like the middle? Hey, if you like getting the top entertainment stories through the Latin lens, then subscribe.
We talk everything from Rosalía to Beyonce.
All the things. All the things.
Press
Subscribe.
that button.
Press it.